Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the colossal, century-long history of a company that has quite literally shaped the modern world. Now, when you think of heavy machinery, one name instantly rises above the dust and the noise, right? But the story of Caterpillar Inc. is honestly so much more than just massive engines and giant tires. It's a fascinating tale of bitter rivalries, strategic resurrections, and bold innovations that dragged humanity right into the modern era.
Right out of the gate, we have to talk about the sheer, overwhelming dominance of this company, because it is staggering. Think about this for a second. Caterpillar serves 192 out of 195 countries on Earth. That is basically the entire planet. They hold nearly 40% of the entire global heavy machinery market. It's practically impossible to build a major piece of infrastructure anywhere without their equipment being involved. But how exactly does a company achieve that level of a global monopoly?
Well, to answer that, we're going to chart this underdog to titan journey through 5 distinct acts: the birth of the beast, rivalry and resurrection, innovating through crisis, building the modern world, and dominating the future. Let's get right into it.
Chapter 1: The birth of the beast. Let's see how a sawmill worker's son built an absolute monster of a machine.
So our story kicks off way back in 1849 in New Hampshire with a guy named Benjamin Holt. Affectionately known as Uncle Ben, Holt grew up working with his hands in his family's sawmill business. After his parents passed away, he headed west to California in 1883. He and his brothers started the Stockton Wheel Company to treat wood for the dry western valleys. Now, this was highly successful, but Ben was a true hands-on inventor at heart. He wasn't the kind of guy to sit around sketching. He literally just built things straight out of his imagination. By 1890, he took the profits from his wood business and funneled them into developing a massive steam traction engine, which was meant to replace horses on farms. But, well, there was a tiny issue. And by tiny, I mean a massive 48,000-pound problem. Ben's early tractors were 24 feet long and weighed 24 tons. When farmers actually tried to use these mechanical behemoths, the sheer weight caused the machines to immediately sink deep into the soft farm fields. They were incredibly powerful, sure, but fundamentally impractical for the very people who needed them most. So how do you fix a sinking tractor? In 1904, Holt had a massive light bulb moment. He decided to replace the giant wheels with wooden tracks. And this is actually where one of the most famous brand names in history comes from. It wasn't even Ben's idea. The company photographer, Charles Clements, was watching this new track-type machine work, and he noticed that the undulating movement of the tracks looked exactly like a caterpillar crawling across the dirt. Ben loved the metaphor so much that the name stuck forever. Even at a steep price of $5,500, which by the way is a wild $185,000 today, these Caterpillar tractors became a huge hit because they saved farmers so much time and backbreaking labor.
Moving on to part 2, rivalry and resurrection. Time to look at the post-World War I era, where the company actually nearly died.
World War I was an absolute boom for Holt manufacturing. They supplied heavy tractors for the Allied soldiers, even inspiring the first battleground tanks. But by 1920, the war was over. The market shifted, and farmers realized Holt's massive, war-ready machines were just failing in everyday fields. Enter C.L. Best. Best was actually a former employee of Holt who had jumped ship to start his own company. While Holt was distracted by the war, Best focused entirely on building smaller, practical, farmer-friendly tractors. And because of that, Best Company was rapidly stealing massive market share away from Holt. And look, this rivalry wasn't just on the sales floor. It was deeply personal. These two bitter rivals spent a shocking $1.5 million in legal fees fighting each other over intellectual property, patent infringements, and trademarks. It was an all-out corporate war. And then, right in the middle of all this chaos, Benjamin Holt passes away in 1920. Without Uncle Ben, Holt Manufacturing went to an absolute free fall. It really felt like the end of the road.
But here is the crucial turning point. The bankers who took over Holt's dying company recognized a golden opportunity, the $1 billion Federal Highway Act of 1921. To capture that monumental government contract, they realized that fighting C.L. Best was a totally losing strategy. So, in the stunning move in 1925, they forced a merger between the two fiercest rivals. They combined the Holt and Best companies into one, and, beautifully, they named C.L. Best, Holt's former arch-nemesis, as the CEO to steer the new ship.
All right, Chapter 3, Innovating Through Crisis. Let's see how this newly combined powerhouse completely transformed the industry during the Great Depression.
1931 was literally a blockbuster year for Caterpillar, bringing us three massive innovations. First, the Auto Patrol Grader, the industry's first true motor grader built as a singular machine. Second, they launched Old Betsy, this incredibly efficient diesel engine that gave them immense power with vastly lower fuel costs. And finally, the branding. Before this, tractors were painted Battleship Gray, but CEO C.L. Best had the brilliant idea to paint everything highway yellow. He wanted maximum visibility and dominance from a distance, and that choice literally changed the aesthetic of construction sites globally, forever.
But reality hits hard, and the Great Depression was unforgiving. The brutal reality of the global economy crashed down in 1932. Caterpillar's sales plummeted from a healthy $45 million at the start of the decade down to a devastating $1.6 million. For the first time, they suffered a full-year loss. They had to cut work weeks to just 4 days, close factories entirely, and implement mass salary cuts. They were on the absolute brink of collapse.
That brings us to Chapter 4, Building the Modern World. Saved by Soviet purchases and huge public works projects, Caterpillar began laying the literal foundations of our world today.
Once they found their footing, the sheer scale of the projects they enabled is just mind-blowing. In 1933, they provided the heavy muscle needed to build the towering Golden Gate Bridge. During World War II, their diesel technology became vital for Allied forces. By 1948, their machines were all the way in India, building the colossal Bhakra Dam. They prepped the sites for the '56 Melbourne Olympics. And by the late 50s, they proved their machinery could conquer the harshest environments on Earth, supplying machines for Operation Deep Freeze in the freezing, brutal climate of Antarctica. They weren't just a company anymore. They were a global utility.
Which leads us to our final act, Chapter 5, Dominating the Future. Let's look at their evolution into a modern, multi-billion-dollar global corporation. Over the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the company really locked in its identity. In 1967, they introduced the iconic Block C logo. By 1979, they updated their paint to the highly visible Caterpillar yellow we all know today. In 1986, reflecting their vast growth, they officially renamed themselves Caterpillar Inc. And to secure their dominance into the modern age, they massively expanded into mining, a move highlighted by their staggering $8.8 billion acquisition of the mining giant Bucyrus in 2011.
But look, we have to look at the full picture here, because achieving this massive global scale came with some serious friction. In the late 1990s, the company experienced a really intense 17-month labor strike as thousands of employees clashed with management over healthcare, wage increases, and safety disputes. Later in 2018, they faced controversy over allegations of IRS tax avoidance spanning 13 years. Plus, as a massive industrial manufacturer, they face ongoing scrutiny regarding air quality and their environmental impact. This has led to modern pledges by the company to mitigate their footprint and adopt more sustainable practices moving forward.
Yet even with those operational and public hurdles, Caterpillar's core business has only accelerated. They successfully transitioned into the digital age, launching online platforms and official apps that make their massive parts network accessible anywhere in the world. This relentless focus on global reach and customer service has driven their retail sales today to a staggering $66.9 billion, managing over 850,000 global assets.
There is such a profound lesson in business longevity right here. When you compare Caterpillar's slow, steady reliance on strategic partnerships, like that unthinkable 1925 decision to merge with a bitter enemy just to avoid bankruptcy, it creates a deep-rooted resilience. It's a stark contrast to the rapid growth, highly volatile lifespans of many modern tech startups today. Caterpillar built relationships with Fortune 500 companies and governments over decades, not days. They built a foundation that could weather literal world wars and global depressions.
We've seen how Benjamin Holt's sinking steam engine evolved into an unstoppable, earth-moving empire. But the landscape of infrastructure is changing once again. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. As the entire world heavily pivots towards sustainable energy and strict emission standards, how will a company built on a century of diesel power re-engineer itself? Can the 100-year-old titan that painted the globe yellow successfully go green for the next century? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning how the world around you is built.